think happy.
Hello random person, Sab Nino here. SpongeBob is no stranger to events. For instance, we had Nicktoons Summer Splash, SpongeBob 300/400, the Ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash, along with many others. But not every country has the same events that we had. For instance, some of the stuff overseas can be even bigger. Since there's so many different events in so many different countries, I thought organizing them as such would be the easiest. For this video, I will be discussing notable Germany events. So let's go on a deep dive and see what SpongeBob Schwammkopf has going on over there. SpongeBob Camp/Tour. I'm bringing this up first since I put this in my niche SpongeBob Lost Media list. Shortly after posting that video, Not Brandon /@Brandon_TEG on Twitter found more footage, including the commercial I talked about. I'm honestly proud of how on point my artistic render of the commercial was, right down to the episode footage. Since I don't speak German, I don't know exactly what they're saying in the commercial, but the German wiki helped out with some of it. In 2010, 150 kids were able to win a ticket to the SpongeBob Summer Camp. People can win via speedrunning puzzles, climbing a wall, and other related activities. I'm assuming people won tickets during SpongeBob Tour, since I found a video in Hamburg Harbor Festival with the tour logo. This event also toured in Munich Hits for Kids, Essenstiel Hits for Kids, Bottrop Movie Park Germany, Bremen Hits for Kids, Stuttgart Children and Youth Festival, and Berlin Hits for Kids. I apologize if I fucked up on any of those names. The summer camp itself seemed to be a pretty unique experience. There was a Sky Zone type area, bungee jumping, some sort of water thing, SpongeBob themed games like jellyfishing, an entire bounce house, puzzles, bag toss, and Krabby Patties? They said Krabbenburger in the footage, which translates to Krabby Patty, but that could just be a cheesy nickname they've given to regular burgers. Overall, this event looks fun, and was big enough to even warrant an original song. SpongeBob Camp even predicted the future of the franchise in a way, given how we now have a spin-off set in summer camp. Around the same time, Nickelodeon also had a summer-themed marathon to promote said camp, which was also the premiere of the episodes Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy and The Inside Job. Speaking of episode premieres, this is the perfect segue to talk about the next event. Wo ist SpongeBob? Whatever happened to SpongeBob, or Who Bought What Pants, had a massive marketing push in the US. Commercials were everywhere. There were multiple big sweepstakes relating to it. Even a Flash game based on the special was creative. Fun game. Everyone at the playground knew about it. But this is amateur hour compared to the marketing push they had in Germany. In 2009, a year after Who Bob aired in the US, there was an event called Wo ist SpongeBob, which translates to Where is SpongeBob? In the US, SpongeBob only vanished in Bikini Bottom. But in Germany, he vanished everywhere. Every mention of SpongeBob on the website was replaced with this ominous stock art of a silhouette, and you couldn't watch any videos relating to it on said websites. Plus, any instance where Nickelodeon would normally air the show instead had a news broadcast on what's going on with the investigation for where he is. There was also a website called woistspongebob.de where fans would email clues to an email, or print out flyers to spread around. I sadly can't find anything on this website on the Wayback Machine, since all of the images are just not present, I guess. But I remember they would post findings on the whereabouts of SpongeBob with photographic evidence. And some screenshots of the website included a Google Map thing, so it was pretty intense. The search lasted from July 1st to July 14th, 2009, where SpongeBob was found in Movie Park Germany. Weirdly enough, despite it sounding like a Who Bought What Pants event, which I thought was the case originally. I just found out that it wasn't, because despite many people speculating that it was, me included, SpongeBob Vukov, or their equivalent of the translation Who Bought What Pants, didn't come out until July 19th. 5 days after the event, or maybe it actually was based on the event and I'm just stupid. Shout out to Mazcap8, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for bringing up this event in the first place. I knew about it beforehand, but them and not Brandon pushed me to make this video. If you want to read more about their perspective on the event, here's a screenshot of the comment they've left.
Hilfe! SpongeBob ist verschwunden! Wo ist SpongeBob? Wo kann er sein? Helft uns bei der Suche nach eurem Lieblingsschwamm auf www.woistspongebob.de. Jeder Hinweis zählt.
Hallo! Der Think Happy Day 2011 ist da! Der Tag des Lachens, schwammpastisch! Ein ganzer Tag voller Spaß und Lachen mit mir und all meinen Freunden. Schalt ein für meine lustigsten Folgen und lach dich schlapp! Das ist unser Tag des Lachens! Der Think Happy Day, Tag des Lachens! Am Sonntag ab 6 Uhr.
Captain's Secrets. If you know about the recently found Little Big Planet commercial, you've at least seen a bumper for this event. For the 10th anniversary, there was an event called Think Happy. This name fluctuated from country to country. In the US, it was Happy Squared. In Japan, I believe it was Happy Yellow. In some places like the UK, it was Think Happy. And in other places like Germany, it was Think Happy Day. But on November 28th, Comedy Central aired select episodes to discuss rumors regarding the show. You can already guess one of them from the stolen fan art. I want to discuss each of these rumors since 1, I think it would be fun, and 2, where else could I do this? Sleepy time. SpongeBob is already 20 years old. They're referring to the scene with the driver's license. The show never cared about SpongeBob's age, especially nowadays, since modern instances of his license has no birthday. Plus, if they did care, then that would imply that SpongeBob would live on his own and work 3 years after Camp Coral happened, since he's around 10 in that spinoff. But in 2009, SpongeBob would have been 23 or so if the license is anything to go by. So it has some truth to it. The secret box. SpongeBob has been at a company party without his pants on a copier. This theory has no weight to it whatsoever. Where would they even get a photocopier? The only thing related to a photocopier I can think of is Copybop Ditto Pants, an episode that came out around 5 years after this. There's no clear answer on what the embarrassing snapshot is, but 2 of my theories is the snapshot Squidward took in Christmas Who, or this photos from the book Chuckle and Cringe. Stanley S. Squarepants. Harold Squarepants isn't SpongeBob's father. Believe it or not, this theory has some decent weight to it. SpongeBob's parents both take up the natural sea sponge shape. The person who sent Stanley to SpongeBob looked more kitchen sponge shaped, though some members of the family look like a hybrid of the two, such as Blackjack and Uncle Captain Blues. Plus, in a later episode of SquarePants Family Vacation, when Margaret asked what to do, Harold responded with, "He's your son," which might confirm the theory. All we know for certain is that Margaret is the biological mother, since Truth or Square has solid evidence of this. The Slumber Party. SpongeBob has a double. 2 doubles actually, Curly Teen Girl, and the Drifter from No Weenies Allowed. Not sure if Sponge Tom counts, but he's a decent contender. Jellyfishing, Help Wanted, and Reef Blower. SpongeBob and Patrick do crooked things after jellyfishing. I actually had to look this up. Doing crooked things implies doing things that are dishonest, deceitful, or wicked. Not sure what this implies in this context, but I don't believe this. None of these episodes really imply SpongeBob and Patrick doing immoral acts, and the only things pointing towards this is the firmly grasp it scene in Jellyfishing and SpongeBob soaking up the ocean in Reef Blower, with both being either accidents or flat out ignorance. Texas and pressure. Sandy was in a witness protection program. I highly doubt it. In Sandy Help Us, it is implied that Sandy works for the government, but that's the closest thing I could think of, and that was decades after this marathon. The Lost Mattress and Krusty Towers. Mr. Krabs takes drugs. He does take drugs. Specifically, the bellow. Okay, I know they're not talking about med drugs, but haha, SpongeBob drugs. I don't know what they're trying to imply with Krusty Towers, but maybe the lost mattress is referring to Mr. Krabs losing the money in his mattress, causing him to be in a coma? The only conclusion I can personally think of is, holy shit guys, is the money in Mr. Krabs' mattress actually drugs? Holy shit, how the hell did I gloss over this? In the episode Food Con Castaways, on the license plate of Mr. Krabs' truck, it says, I heart seaweed. Even though this episode came out years after this event, unless someone on the SpongeBob crew denies this, I guess this confirms that Mr. Krabs does take drugs. Whale of a Birthday and Toy Store of Doom. SpongeBob is trans. In Whale of a Birthday, SpongeBob briefly dresses up as a girl, but this isn't anything new. However, Toy Story of Doom has some decent evidence to this claim, since Patrick asks SpongeBob if they're going into the ladies' room again. But this episode debunks this claim as well, since earlier Patrick mistakes SpongeBob for wearing a tutu, when it was in fact a mantu. Or maybe they simply didn't have a tutu in his size. To be honest, I don't think SpongeBob is trans, since throughout the show, SpongeBob has been comfortable with male pronouns, and even states that he is 100% male. But if you personally think SpongeBob is trans, then definitely more power to you. I'm not gonna take that away from you. Atlantis Squarepantis. SpongeBob is a weakling. This is the most obvious one on the list. There is so much proof to this claim that I don't even need to tell you that he's weak. The pilot alone gives you enough of an indicator. And lastly, Rockabye Bye-Bell, SpongeBob is gay, which is the episode example almost everyone uses to support this claim. Personally, I didn't see anything homo with Rockabye Bye-Bell. I just see them as playing house, but if you like to think of SpongeBob and Patrick as OTP, more power to you. In an interview with Steven Hillenburg, he said, "It doesn't have anything to do with what we're trying to do. We never intended them to be gay. I consider them to be almost asexual. We're just trying to be funny, and this has got nothing to do with the show." Plus, around the time when Nickelodeon made that Twitter post with the rainbow SpongeBob, Pinky Toons actually said something similar, but has since taken it down, which basically means if you think SpongeBob's gay, then he's gay. If not, then that's okay too. It's not the top priority of the character anyway. Other than the commercial I mentioned earlier, the rumors are the only things documented on this marathon, so I don't know if there were any people explaining these theories in depth, or if they just pointed out as rumors. Bob Music. I can't tell if this is an event, but it's certainly an ongoing thing, so I suppose it's an event in some regard. In the US, we have a handful of CDs based on music from the show, but Germany takes it up a notch by having almost yearly albums. In 2011, they released Bob Music, the Yellow Album, not to be confused with the Yellow Album. After that, we have more albums than anyone would ever think would be possible. Disclaimer, these are all the English translations of these titles. Bob Star, the Blue Album, SpongeBob the Super Bob Album, Deep in the Ocean, Christmas Underwater, Radio Bikini Bottom, and the list goes on. You might be saying, there's no way SpongeBob has this much music. What do they fill it with? Unfortunately, parody songs of well-known music.
Das riecht so, immer durch die Nase atmen, denn das riecht so. Lass die Flut der Kräfte, die den Kopf durchfließen, sich als gute Laune in die Welt ergießen. Super, super, super.
For instance, they parodied Sweet Plus Psycho by Ava Max, TikTok by Kesha, Africa by Shakira, and I know at some point they even did Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO. So they're really trying to make these hip and relevant. Cosmodore made a video on these albums, which, if you know, you know. Let's just put it at that. The video he made would have come in handy for better understanding of these albums given that he understood them. But out of what I remember from what he said in the video, the parodies were pretty cringe, but had a few standout songs. Plus, it's not all covers either. Sometimes they actually extend existing songs from the show, such as Krusty Krab Pizza, Gary's Song, Idiot Friends. Hell, a month ago they actually remixed Stadium Rave. Update, I actually found some of the translations to these songs when finding footage for this video. Unfortunately, the ones I found were not that great. For instance, the extended version of existing songs really don't need extra verses. Gary Come Home XXL is being sung from SpongeBob and Patrick's perspective. SpongeBob basically has the same verses from the original song, but Patrick just sort of kills the sad tone the song has by mentioning the snail nip in his stomach and commenting on how sad SpongeBob is crying his eyes out. Rip Pants XXL has a similar problem, since after the original last verse of being true to yourself, it becomes a pity party for SpongeBob, which defeats the purpose of the song. And again, ruins the impact by making a joke about his butt feeling a breeze due to the rip. They even extended fun, which is something I'm not against, but the way they went about it also ruined it. Since Mr. Krabs has a verse that ruins the whole vibe of the song by stopping Plankton. Plus, this really isn't the type of song Mr. Krabs should sing at all, and they even point that out. Also, I'm not sure if this is a poor translation on Google's part, but they said the word shit.
F stands for formula. He wants to steal from me. U stands for Eddie Price. Honestly. N stands for well, that's what you get for it. What are you doing such shit?
Wait, the nose-picking line has the word shit too? Is that just a common word in Germany? This isn't the only instance of profanity in these songs either, because in Po Po Positive, this translation reads, "All that annoying stuff I don't care about today. I'll just throw it away. I tell the world,
Fuck you!
and I wiggle the tail."
Exactly.
I'll get to this song later. The Sweep a Psycho parody I mentioned earlier is about SpongeBob being scared of the police. Mood. I even revisited one I used to listen to as a kid titled Homa. For a while, I thought Homa was a word for exercise due to the footage used, but no, it's a word for lobster. But I was very surprised to know that this parody was about SpongeBob and Sandy being racist to lobsters. For shame, you two. You've lost your blacker belts. Wait, was that joke racist? I'm so sorry. Unlike a lot of the parodies, Homa is actually a parody of a German song called Hammer by Kolcha Candela, which makes me wish they did more parodies of German music. I'm sure doing US parodies is a great way to introduce kids to music where the show takes place, though I wish it worked vice versa as well. They even parodied a Spanish song called Bellow with Bel Malvao, which is a song about teaching Gary how to bark in self-defense? I'm assuming that's what it's about from the visuals and the back and forth between Sponge and Gary. This whole phenomenon even has a YouTube channel called SpongeBob Musique, where most of the songs have music videos, which range from taking footage directly from episodes to their own original footage that makes me upset since I know I could do a better job if they hired me. The most infamous ones to me are Ich hab was am Po, translating to I've got something on my butt, and Po Po Positiv, which I believe translates to butt positive. Ironically, both of them involve butts. The latter is extra bad since they had Marcus Becker as a guest star, so they just copy-pasted his head on a fish body. Plus, Mr. Krabs is dancing naked in front of his own daughter, which is very uncomfortable. I know the US also had bad celebrity parodies such as the recent Super Bowl, but at least they don't copy-paste the celebrity's face and go, they're a fish now. Oh, sometimes they even steal fan art. The fact that something like this even exists is super baffling to me. And you know, if this happened in the US, the fandom would burn Nick Studios to the ground for it solely existing. And those were some SpongeBob German events that I wanted to share with you guys. Which one was the most interesting to you? Were there any that I missed that you wish I brought up? Comment below. Plus, if you like this style of video, feel free to suggest other countries that I could do this type of video on. I know I certainly have a few already on my bucket list. And as always, it's all Sab from here.